Hi, and welcome to Progressive Shortcakes. I'm your host, Joe Firestone. So, what is Trump doing? Is he giving us a con? Or is he pursuing a coup? Well, that question was addressed in an article that appeared in the New Yorker and was picked up at Reader Supporter News by Masha Gessen, who's a well known progressive writer. And the essence of what she has to say is that successful coup plotters don't do everything right either. No aspiring dictator can commandeer enough military power to be able to dominate an entire country that refuses to recognize him. No coup plotters can close every channel of communication and stop all movement. But no one usurping power can force people to forget that different norms and expectations existed as recently as yesterday. What successful coup plotters do is con enough people into thinking they have already taken power. No one can fully predict when such a claim will succeed or fail. In the coup stage of his presidency, Trump has continued to be Trump. He has shown no ability to plan or plot, but plenty of resolve and willingness to act. He fired military brass and the chief of election cybersecurity, Chris Krebs, for daring to contradict him. He garnered more than 70 million votes. He has showcased considerable power, in other words, but so far, it doesn't seem to be enough to persuade Americans that he will keep it. For now, Trump's coup attempt seems doomed, unquote. And quoting again, but as is his way, Trump is succeeding even as he fails. His project all along has been to destroy the political order as we have known it. An overwhelming majority of Republican elected officials are hedging their bets on the coup attempt, whether in order to humor Trump or appease his base. They have neglected to recognize the results of the election. The Tuesday night incident at the Wayne County Election Board showed that at least some election officials will do Trump's bidding. And meanwhile, Twitter, Trump's favorite channel of communication with the world, has tried meekly to address the issue of Trump's lies. It did not flag his false claim that Michigan failed to certify the election. Quoting again, it has flagged other Trump tweets about election fraud by attaching the label, quote, this claim about election fraud is disputed, as if it were a matter of debate, as if election fraud in the U.S. were an observable phenomenon about which good people can disagree. Whatever Trump tweets that he won the election, Twitter adds, quote, multiple sources called this election differently, unquote, as though he didn't know enough to say instead, quote, Trump lost, unquote. Trump's bad con continues to show how easy it would be to stage a good one. Then we would call it a coup, unquote. And that's really the point. What Trump is doing here is he's continuing to do everything he can to create uncertainty and chaos. When the uncertainty and chaos gets sufficiently chaotic and doubts arise in enough people that he feels confident, that he and Barr feel confident to make a power move, then his con may turn into a coup. even if it doesn't turn into a coup, and even if it doesn't contain such a move, Trump's continuing behavior to create as much doubt and chaos as he can well keep his movement alive through next month, right up to the run-up of the runoff elections in Georgia on January 5th, which will determine control of the Senate, something that, of course, Trump does not want to turn over to Democrats. But also, it will keep his activists out there working for something, working for a near-term goal, keep his movement alive. That's what he wants to do now. He wants to keep hope alive, in the words of Jesse Jackson. Keep hope alive. That's what he's about now. And then, even if Biden takes over as scheduled, he'll be doing his best to keep the movement alive, to keep hope alive. And to do that for the next 4 years, in hopes of getting another crack at things in 2024. So our expectation has to be that as long as Trump stays healthy, he's not going away anytime soon, he'll be attacking our democracy continuously. Let us hope that his continuous attacks are not matched by attacks by the Biden administration through the failed strategy of returning to the normal that created the highly unsatisfactory and unsatisfied state of 2016 that gave rise to Trump in the first place, because that is what is going to fuel his movement and fuel the possibility of a return in 2025, a return of the grand administration of looters whose first successful attempt at looting is ending, but who will continue to loot their supporters as they try to prepare the way for a return to grand looting again in 2025. So that will do it for this progressive short take. Thank you for coming.